The best conversations happen at happy hour. Welcome to Ours.
Welcome aboard.
This is the PT Pintcast. Here's your host, physical therapist, Jimmy McKay.
And Robot Lady said my name.
She did,
and
yeah.
And also Katie Sutton, PTA Plus. We're doing a collaboration, a crossover episode. Excited to talk to our next guest, Chris Carlin. You've got a really, really interesting background and mishmash. And I used to call myself a physical therapy, like, sort of weirdo, because I came to this profession as a second career. I brought a couple different lenses. You're doing a different role right now. So what's your background in like 10, 15 seconds? Like what's your 30,000-foot view of your career?
Sure. So I'm an occupational therapist by clinical background. I am the vice president of rehab for Hartford Healthcare. Also helps support the emergency medical services there, and also serve as the president of the National Association of Rehab Providers and Agency, better known as NARA, which is a trade association, sister organization for APTA, AOTA, and ASHA, and some of the other associations.
And it's not small.
It's not.
But I had never heard of it until like 2 years ago. Which just shows you how many things are out there and how many huge things you can miss. So how do you explain what NARA is?
So NARA is an organization of rehab providers across the country. We represent about 90,000 therapists.
Not small.
Collectively, not small. And what makes it a little bit different, it represents all disciplines, OT, PT, and speech, across the continuum. So, and we have providers that do outpatient, we have providers that do health systems like ours, we have providers that might work in home care, subacute, so really across the whole continuum.
And then who's members? Is it clinicians who are treating? Is it management? Like, who's the avatar?
So it's a membership organization. So organizations join as, so in Hartford Healthcare's case, we're a member of NARA.
Oh, so organizations join. Understood.
Yes.
Okay.
Got it. And with that, all of our colleagues that work in the organizations are part of NARA.
Got it. So someone who works with you at Hartford Health, when Hartford Health joins, now you're a member of NARA.
Correct.
And the guiding principle, like what's the guiding light? Like why does NARA exist?
So NARA exists to try and improve the therapy profession. So we do a lot of advocacy, a lot of legislative work, with our partners like APTA, AOTA, ASHA, Advion, ABTQI, and some others. And we also try and look at how do we make sure we're looking at best practice, so we're raising quality of care, and also having sustainable businesses that we can continue to expand and make sure we take care of the patients that we serve.
So you're looking at several professions, but from a different perspective. Like this is, what we just talked to Sky Donovan, who's the APTA vice president. She's looking really at our profession of physical therapy and a little bit outside of it, but you're looking from a different lens. So what are the big issues that NARA tries to address? You mentioned advocacy, right? But what are some other things that I might not be overlooking?
So I think advocacy is important. What we're doing, make sure that we have this payment reform, the things that we have to do to make sure that we can continue to have an industry that allows us to take care of patients. And so our members, the biggest things we're looking at is how do we move to this value-based healthcare, making sure we're giving the best quality care in the most efficient manner. How do we make sure that we can again have strong businesses to do so? How do we work on our workforce and our therapy pipeline? Looking at different ways that we can increase our capacity, our access, making sure that we have the capacity to take care of the rising needs of therapy that are out there.
That can't be easy. Because, I'm looking at what APTA does at one profession, and now I'm looking at NARA saying, that feels like we're multiplying amounts of things you need to cover.
That's a lot of problems.
That's a lot of problems squared.
Similar things with the disciplines, and I think it's really just represents our members. Our members have, multiple disciplines that work for them. They have PTOT speech, and they work across the continuum, so it's really just a reflection of the membership that makes up NARA.
You became a physical therapist to help people, not to feel like just another number. At US Physical Therapy, we're 135 plus local brands, backed by one national support team. That means more opportunity and better resources, while working for locally owned clinics in your backyard. Find your next role with a company that puts PTs first. Start today at usph.com.
What are some recent wins in NARA that get you excited about some wins in the future coming down the line?
So one of the things that we've done recently, we partnered with again the sister organizations and talked with United Health a few months ago when they announced the prior authorization for therapy. And you may remember there was a lot of confusion, there was some delays and some challenges. So we partnered with the organizations. We went to United and just explained what we are realizing. So they, of course, had some data and said that 98% of the claims were approved and all kinds of different things. But we shared what our lived experience was, that they might have been approved. It was 11 days after we submitted it, and it might have been approved, and we might have gotten a number of visits, but they expired a day later. So we just worked with them to try and understand the practical implication and what it meant for our patients, their subscribers, to say that a therapy provider can't get authorization to say you can do 7 visits, but it ends tomorrow, and be able to provide those. So they took that feedback and ultimately made a step forward in saying that we can now have a certain number of visits that we can do without waiting for that authorization, which is a win for not only the providers but the patients we serve. We know that access is important, and the more timely we get folks in, the better the outcome.
Is that the way to do it? I mean, it must be, right? Like me knocking on the door of United Healthcare, they're probably not going to open it or set a meeting. But if a person who runs an organization, 90,000, 100,000, or several organizations band together, it's harder to ignore, right? I mean, that's reality.
Well, and we're able to get data. We were able to get data from members to say, what's that shared experience and what does it look like, so we could share that with them. And the approach we used is that APTA, ASHA, and AOTA went together as the association representing the therapist, said, here's the problem we're seeing. We then partnered with Avion and APTA.
What is Avion? I don't know what Avion is.
Avion it was formerly known as NASL. So they rebranded themselves a couple of years ago.
What is NASL, though?
So it looks at the National Alliance of Long-Term Care, so they in the subacute segment. Yeah. But they do therapy, and many of the members do. So we partner together, and what we're able to do is have the business communities come together to say what's the impact we're seeing as an organization, and have the APTA, AOTA, and ASHA go together and say, here's what it means for our members, which are the therapists that we employ. So it was a nice tag team approach that really got some attention. Yeah.
I mean, coming and saying we don't like this is one angle. Another is we have the information of why this is bad for everybody involved, and how do we work together now that we understand this is a shared issue.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's the language that's going to get things done. You've been president for all of, you just got there, right?
So my term started on July 1st. So I've been fortunate. I've been part of the board for a number of years. I was the vice president the past 6 years. I was secretary prior to that, and so I've been involved. But yeah, my presidency started on July 1st.
So what's on the horizon? What are the big things that you're saying? Hey, let's guide this pretty big ship in this direction to overcome.
Yeah, I think we have to continue to advocate for payment reform. We have to get a solution for telehealth. There's a lot of things on the therapy horizon that we need to make sure that we're partnering with with CMS, with legislation, to make sure we can work together to find solutions for that. So that's a big piece. Also trying to look at how do we look at partnering with the right stakeholders to work towards that value-based healthcare. There's a lot of at-risk payment things that are out there, and saying how do we collectively look at how do we do it differently? How do we partner with some of our academic institutions? Say how do we create a pipeline? How do we make sure that we can handle the demand that's growing with our aging population? Therapy is a solution for this value-based world, and we need to make sure we have the capacity, the therapists in the pipeline to be able to continue to provide the care.
Are you still stuck spending hours on administrative tasks? Empower EMR automates scheduling, billing, and documentation so you can actually focus on your patients, not your paperwork. Book a free demo now at empoweremr.com. Are you still staying late just to finish your notes? Aphellis Scribe uses ambient AI to auto-generate documentation, so your notes are done before you leave the room. You want to see how it works? Email me now at jimmy@ptpintcast.com. I'll give you a quick demo.
You have a big event like our CSM. I think I just missed it last year. What ballpark part of the year is it, and where is it coming up?
So NARA has 2 conferences a year. In May, we always meet in D.C. because we do some advocacy while we're here on the Hill. And then in the fall, in October, we have another conference that rotates around. This year we'll be in Phoenix, Arizona in October, and that conference is a little bit different than the spring that focuses on the compliance, regulatory, legislative things. The fall conference really looks at innovative ideas, technology, how you can develop your programs, and just make sure we're giving the best care for our patients.
And Phoenix, it'll only be 112 degrees in October, so you're set on that.
But it's a dry heat, as they say.
It's a dry heat.
So you know what's interesting about these conversations that we have literally over happy hour? As any good podcaster, I just met you like 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, something like that. I am sneaking on your LinkedIn profile here, and I'm seeing people from my hometown that are part of NARA. So I find that to be very interesting. You guys have the conferences too. We love our conferences. So LinkedIn is such a powerful tool, because here I am looking at all the things, and I'm like, I know about NARA because I've seen lots of things posted about NARA on LinkedIn. So I just sent you a request, by the way.
Well, thank you. Thank you.
About how many organizations in NARA? I mean, you mentioned 90,000 members, but how many orgs?
It's 115 member organizations right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
So what's the
that's
pitch to an org versus a member? Like, so the clinician versus, hey, this is why the org should belong here.
I think the benefit of having organization membership, as we say, we look at how do you make a strong, sustainable, quality rehab program. And the nice part is that when the members when the organizations become members of NARA, their entire workforce can join. So we have special interest groups throughout the year. People can join. We have our clinical ones looking at different settings. There's an outpatient. There's a SNF. There's a home care, pediatrics. We also have things like compliance, revenue cycle, leadership development. So various members of the organization can join. So it's nice as an organization, they can have this benefit for all of their colleagues to say, hey, here's some of the benefits. We're a member. You can take advantage of them.
Connection, education, exposing to ideas and things you might not otherwise, and that's the value.
Absolutely.
That's the value of membership.
Absolutely.
We have a tradition on the show. It's called the parting shot.
Okay.
So your last chance for a mic drop moment, soapbox statement. What's the idea, concept, quote? Could be anything that you want to leave with the audience as we wrap up.
I would say check out NARA.net.org if you don't know about us. It's a value, I think, to the member organizations. And if, as you said, you weren't aware of it, so I imagine others aren't as well. So check it out. And like I said, love to have you join in October in our fall conference.
Sounds good.
Great.
Is there a happy hour at the conference?
There's a happy hour each conference. Very important.
Twist my arm. Looking forward to it. Chris, appreciate you taking some time out here at this event with APTA and telling us a little bit more about NARA.
Thank you for your time.
Yeah, thank you.
This is the PT Pinecast.
You want to specialize in ortho, neuro, or sports physical therapy and actually get paid while doing it? Brooks IHL offers accredited residencies and fellowships with full salary, full benefits, and real mentorship from clinical experts. Learn more and apply at brooksihl.org. There aren't nearly enough podcasts in this world. Said no one. Why not launch one more? If you thought about launching a show but don't quite know how, we can help you do all that back-end stuff. Email me at jimmy@ptpintcast.com, and we can add one more podcast no one else will listen to the pile.